On this day in 1960, Willie Goldie set out to watch Celtic play at Broomfield and by kick-off had been picked to play in goal. There can have been few more divisive figures in Celtic history than Sir Robert Kelly, or plain old Bob as he was in 1960. The son of Celtic's first captain and later chairman James Kelly, he became chairman himself in 1947 and ruled Celtic Park with a rod of iron for the next 20 years. Robert Kelly saw himself as the custodian of Celtic and its traditions, and no one could ever accuse him of not wanting what was best for the club. He went to war with the SFA to ensure the flag of Ireland flew above the ground on match days and was a fierce defender of Celtic's interests. But he bears greater responsibility for Celtic's long post-war malaise than any other individual. Kelly was a curious mixture of Corinthianism, romanticism and religiosity trapped in the body of a Victorian mill owner. He was obsessed with the idea of the stone the builders rejected becoming the cornerstone of famous victories. This may explain in part the mystifying selection decisions he made ahead of losing Scottish Cup finals in 1955, 56, 61 and 63. This eccentricity of Kelly's manifested itself in the strange case of former Airdrieonians goalkeeper Willie Goldie on the 1st of October 1960. Goldie had been at Celtic on trial earlier in the year and was signed on a short-term deal in August as cover for John Fallon, while Frank Haffey and Frank Connor were both out injured. Goldie had not played for the first team yet, and as the reserves had played the night before, he decided to make his own way to Broomfield, green and white scarf around his neck, to watch the match. Accounts vary in small details, but as the Celtic team bus made its way to the ground, Goldie was spotted either waiting at a bus stop or making his way on foot. John Fallon remembered the day in his autobiography, Keeping in Paradise. As we passed Monklands Hospital, Bob Kelly spotted the cover goalkeeper Willie Goldie standing at a bus stop, Celtic scarf round his neck, clearly going to the game as a supporter. The reserves had no game that day. Kelly was impressed by this sort of commitment and ordered the bus driver to stop and to give the player a lift. Amidst much laughter, "Who's this young hooligan?" and "Can you no afford the bus fare, Willie?" the overwhelmed and slightly embarrassed Goldie got on. The bus arrived at Broomfield, and after a walk to inspect the pitch and the goalmouths, I returned with some of the other players to the dressing room to get ready for the game. There, to my astonishment, I saw that my boots had been removed from the place where the goalkeeper's jersey was and discovered that Willie Goldie, who had set out for this game as a supporter, was going to play instead. No one seemed to have thought to tell me or even considered how I might feel to lose my place in such circumstances. Celtic had yet to win a league match so far that season, so the 2-0 defeat that day cannot be attributed solely to Willie Goldie. But he did not impress, to put it mildly. He looked suspect at the opening goal, but the second was a disaster. The Irish newspaper, Ireland's Saturday Night, reported on the 1st of October, "Seconds from the interval, Celtic goalkeeper Goldie was the victim of a tragic mistake. He only partially held a cave-in cross and Storey pounced to put Airdrie 2 up." In the unkind words of one reporter, Goldie gave away the goals like free soap coupons. Poor Willie Goldie never played another match for Celtic after his disastrous debut and was freed a few weeks later as Haffey and Connor returned to fitness. But the blame lay directly at the feet of Robert Kelly. Goldie was totally unprepared, both physically and mentally, and had been thrown into a team without a win in their first 4 league games. But at least he achieved his dream of playing for Celtic, and as Bertie Auld later remarked, "That was Celtic in 1960, and you came to expect the unexpected. Anything could happen, and often did."